hear singing in the woods.
Could you just introduce yourself first to the camera?
Hi, my name's Tony Slade.
What is the craziest experience you've had here doing your seances?
So I think the craziest thing that we had was I had a lady that was sitting over here, and we were using some of the things that were in the space, and then all of a sudden our stereo started buzzing. And I figured that the buzzing was just the stereo itself, but then as we went along, I started to realize that the stereo was answering our questions, and every time we'd ask a question, the stereo would buzz to the questions that we asked. So I pointed it out to the group, and there was a lady that was here, and she just started bawling, and I was like, well, what's going on? And she was trying to catch her breath because she just couldn't catch her breath. And finally she tells me that it was the anniversary of her son's death, and that he was a musician, so she's like, of course he's going to speak to me through the stereo.
Oh, wow.
So it was just this weird moment of knowing that we're having a seance for something completely different, and now this woman's son has come through and talked to us during the thing. So it was just a really cool little moment.
Yeah. Do you ever get anybody that asks you about the witch trials that happened in the 1700s?
We do. We actually get quite a few people that ask about that all the time. I just had a gentleman actually came in, I think it was 3 days ago. He was from Boston, and he was saying how amazed he was how much this was like Boston. Even just the feel of the area and the way that everything was set up. And then he kind of was telling me the same things about the witches' trials and saying, you know, how this was a lot like Salem back then and that kind of stuff. So I thought it was really interesting because I never really put together all of that. Like I knew back because of the whole witches' ball and all that stuff, I knew that there was a reason for all of that, but I never really put together that, oh yeah, all of those same kind of things were going on here.
Do you believe that it's fact? Because there's a lot of speculation that it is fake, that Benjamin Franklin created it as a hoax to kind of make fun of the people of Mount Holly back in the day, because he thought of them as less than him.
Right.
So do you think it's fact or fake?
I would say it's a little bit of both. I mean, there was an article that came out and that's filters around and everybody uses memes and all that kind of stuff. And clearly that was something that was faked and that was put together, as you said, to kind of make fun of everybody else. But it's, you know, a lot of the things with the witches trial back then was just strictly men saying, I don't want a dominant woman. So if it was a woman that was coming out and saying, you know, like she would laugh too much, or she would dance too much, or she was just something that was outside of the norm, she was a witch, so they had to kill her. So I mean, it's not that far to believe that you had a bunch of men that were together that were like, oh, you know, that's a witch, get her out of here. Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both. You know, like there probably was some hype that was behind it, but then you definitely get those groups of people that were going to use that to their advantage to get rid of whoever it was in the town they didn't like.
So it's a little bit of both, you think?
Yeah, Crazy Annie or something like, oh, well, this is an easy way to get rid of her. She's a witch, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So, if you could leave anybody with something about Mount Holly that's positive, what would you leave them with?
It's just a great community. It's everybody that's here really tries to live up to the Christian ideals of taking care of your neighbor and all that kind of stuff. And it definitely has that feel of a community. If you go on any of the community sites, just like 2 or 3 Facebook pages, somebody will ask a question, there'll be 40 people that are answer their question, and not only will they answer it, but they'll give them links of the place to go, or they'll go out of their way to take it. And there's a lady that's just up the street. She has a little garden in her yard, and she picks all her stuff, and then every day she puts that in a basket, and then tells everybody, you can come and get, this is what I got today.
Okay. Well, if you could pick one thing in this whole store, what would you think would be your favorite piece?
Oh.
That's the same answer for every store I've ever been in like this.
It's tough because I think it would be the little girls that are playing in the cemetery, the 2 girls that are playing in the cemetery up in the corner over there. I think that would definitely be my favorite of the group because it honestly looks like 2 little girls having fun in a cemetery. Like, you know, you get 2 dolls that are made up to be zombies, and it just really looks like they've crawled out of the grave and they're sitting there having fun. And they're like laughing and giggling. And it looks like they're a little tea party. So
yeah,
that's
just
probably,
like ironic.
yeah, absolutely. So I think that's probably my favorite piece of the group.
And how did you come up with this place? Like, how did you one day wake up and say, I want to start an artifact shop that's all creepy and scary?
I have been a horror actor for since 2006 now. And I do a lot of horror movies, and I have a ton of friends who do horror art and, you know, just horror stuff in general. And I just kept seeing over and over and over again people saying, I can't get my stuff in anywhere because, you know, it's horror based and they don't want to carry it, it doesn't fit into their theme, or they only want it for Halloween and then they want to get rid of it, or they've got to go to the punk rock flea market and they got to spend $300 on a table, and then it's hard to make the money back. And it was just like that story over and over and over again. So I just really wanted to have a place where they could feature their art. We make sure that they get 100% of what it is that they want. The artists are getting taken advantage of by all these different galleries and stuff, and so I just wanted to put an end to all of that. I wanted it to be that they'd be able to get their money out of it. And then we were doing just the seance, and we've been doing it since 2012 in a bunch of different areas. We started in Miami and then went to Atlanta and then did it in Philly. And then COVID happened and we had to shut that one down, and I'm so glad it did. You know, I'm glad it ended up being the way it is. Everything ended up, it's that whole thing of everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and this was definitely it, you know. You know, this space was the witch's shop that she's now across the street. She was in here before, and so it's like already got a built-in clientele, it's already got the built-in energy feel, like everything that you would want in a scary store, it's already here. So it's great. And then, like I said, it's already on it, so I don't need to invent things. It's already here, you know.
Yeah, it's a great location.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting me film you and ask you some questions. This is probably like one of the creepiest set of woods I've ever been in. And I can't believe I came back here. I was here on Thursday. It's Saturday. And I wanted to come back and really portray it the correct way. This town was part of a conspiracy. It's factor fake. Nobody knows if it's real or not. It was a witch trial that happened apparently in the late 1700s. Benjamin Franklin himself apparently killed 3 witches here at the altar. I'll insert that footage from Thursday because I definitely don't want to walk all the way over there again. It's creepy enough just being this far into the woods. I just found out from that girl that works in the coffee shop that there is a witch trial altar thing here in Mount Holly. So I'm gonna go there right now so I can get the content for you guys. I'm wearing my brand new white Vans like an idiot. Oh, I almost fell down the road. I'm in the thing. I think I found something. It's interesting.
So what are you looking for?
She said it's a marble altar where they killed witches in the witch trials. Guys, I literally just found it. I trekked all the way up those mountains and down. I'm a little shaky, but I found it. The holy, holy, holy. This is somewhere where they killed witches during the witch trial here. Okay, so it was a little bit of a trek. I wore the wrong shoes. I wore white shoes to come and hike this place, but in my defense, I did not know that this was here. This is like a really, really, really sacred place. Obviously, I hold a lot of respect for it. I think this is original cobblestone, like where people actually walked on and like watched as witches, people, innocent people were killed. As you know, nowadays people practice all different types of witchcraft, some good, some bad. Spirituality is a big thing now, and I just feel like really sad and upset for the people that went through all this, and the fact that the altar is still here and the cobblestones are still here. It kind of like puts it into retrospect of like what these people were feeling at this moment in time. Especially because, you know, they were normal people. Probably mothers, probably sisters, probably daughters, and even men too, I think, were killed. So, you know, it puts you into retrospect that if that was a thing today, a lot of normal people that we know today would not be here, and it's sad. So I definitely give all the respect to the people here. I keep thinking I'm hearing things in the woods, and they turn out it's a squirrel. There's a lot of squirrels here, and it does have like this weird eerie feeling to it. Obviously any place that has some heavy energy is gonna feel a little bit unsettling. I'm gonna make my way out of here as fast as possible and cleanse myself of that energy, because I definitely do feel a little bit of a misery, or like sadness, and that's definitely heavy feeling. I don't like it, so I'm gonna leave. I'm out of breath actually. I barely walked, so it's definitely like a suffocating feeling, and that scared me a little bit. So I'm gonna make my way down to my car. And apparently the government has like put these little geographical markers down for whatever reason. The girl that told me about this place couldn't explain why they were there. Apparently there's no like explanation really of why they're there. I came back because there is a witch's well that I didn't get to go to and show you guys. I am alone, so I don't necessarily want to go towards the singing in the woods. If you know what I mean, any explorer knows. You kind of just, if you hear something in the woods, you didn't. There's still a very healthy population of witch culture here. There's metaphysical shops everywhere. There's people that do fertility circles. There's a bunch of different things that happen still today, surrounded by witchcraft and, you know, spirituality and all of that fun stuff, that I still believe that it's true. A lot of times you find in these small towns that have all of these unique different corner stores and different places and different people, a lot of those legends are pretty true. So I have a really strong feeling that it is true, because when you walk in these woods you just feel different. There's a trail down this way. But it doesn't seem to be cleared out at all. But I guess let's try it. That's where the water tower is, so I'm assuming that's where the well is. Obviously it's probably where they tapped into it. I think this is it, but now there's like a huge fence that you can't really get through. This is definitely it. It's in there. So behind me is like the fence where they lock you in, right there. And I'm sure like people have tried to get through so that they can go. It's covered in barbed wire, so can't go over. I know people have probably tried to get through to go through to the well. So the well used to be obviously an actual like just hole in the ground, obviously well, like an old well. With all of the hype on the legend, they did close it up with a fence, a building, and like a concrete slab over top of it apparently. So that fence never used to be here, and then I guess people started flocking to the area for the legend, and now they have a fence up with barbed wire. So you can't go technically right to this place unless you have authorization to do so. Not as creepy as the altar, because it's more like a residential area with the road right there, but still very, very sad. Apparently they threw the witch or the person right down there and she didn't die right away. So she screamed all night and apparently haunts the town now because of it, which is a terrible way to die if that actually did happen. This is amazing. If you ever come to Mount Holly, go to Colonial Cafe. Get the paranormal pumpkin spice iced. I'm sure the hot is good too, but it's too hot outside. It's like 80 degrees and I'm sweating my ass off. And the bacon, egg, and cheese. So good. So throughout this journey of me experiencing Mount Holly, I've met some amazing people. The things I've learned, so cool. And honestly, this is like the best way to meet people, understand a place, is to go talk to the locals. It's really important that you get their view of things because they live there every single day and they normally have a cooler outlook on any of the old history than Google does. So I definitely recommend, if you guys are wanting to be explorers or wanting to go out and video an area and understand it and learn about it, go talk to people, go talk to anybody you can, anybody that'll let you talk to them, and you learn so much. So that's kind of what I did today. It's very important to understand that Mount Holly has so many different viewpoints, and it's either they are very, very dark paranormal history, or they have some playful spirits going on in the little stores that we've seen, or none of that and people don't believe it at all, and it's just this happy, bustling town where there's concerts and car shows and all of this fun stuff to do. I don't know whether Mount Holly is a hustle and bustle town that has all of these really, really cool festivals that go on and people just, you know, come and go into these little stores and have a great time, or if it does have a dark history and a dark paranormal history at that. There are so many different cool stories to look through and look upon if you come to these towns that are circa 1700s or so. I just think they're so cool and so charming. So thank you guys for sticking along for this video. I hope you learned a lot and I hope you come visit it, and I hope this inspires you to come check out any little town around your area and talk to more people and be social, because in this day and age of social media and all of that, we have lost that trait, and we've lost that trait of just going and talking to people and learning different stories. Never stop exploring, never stop trying to find and research the information you want on your own. You know, use your own brain. Don't always go to Google. Sometimes you have to experience it for yourself. Definitely subscribe down below if you want to come experience some more journeys with me. There's gonna be so many cool things that we're gonna be doing in the next couple weeks, so don't miss out because it's gonna be really epic. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Go explore a haunted place because it's really fun, and bye.